online and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
I feel a little bit uneasy, and parents as well, when they only come to visit their kids every once in a while.
Nationwide, there are concerns over college campus safety, from sexual assault to intoxicated students walking home. Tonight, NDSU leaders are taking action, hoping to prevent crime. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Stephanie has the night off. NDSU campus police are asking students to help them keep the college community safe after dark. Right now, officers, student leaders, and sexual assault prevention staff are taking a walk in the dark together, pointing out trouble spots that could promote crime. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Nicole Johnson is out with the walkers, and she joins us now. Nicole, what are they looking for?
Mike, we're on the main campus right now, but no matter where you're at, here or downtown, lighting is the biggest issue. You can tell the difference from where I was just standing to here in the light. Walkers are pointing out things like burnt out bulbs or areas where students like to run where they want to add some light. And many are telling us pointing out these issues couldn't come at a better time. Sending kids off to college can be stressful for parents, especially with recent crimes and tragedies on their mind.
I'd say that parents are a little bit more aware, and they're always wondering what the university is doing to make sure that their kids are safe at school. And
Student Body President Eric McDaniel says overall, NDSU focuses on prevention.
Proactive is a lot better than being reactive. We don't want to be reacting about bad things that happen in the community. If things happen, we obviously need to react, but it's a lot better to be proactive to try to stop some of the things that could be happening before they happen.
Sergeant Alan Grinsteiner is leading the walk, trying to get students involved.
It's a big issue.
He says campus looks very different during the day. At night, things like overgrown shrubs and dark parking lots are big problems. Cleaning them up is top priority.
It makes our job easier when we patrol campus at night, as well as students walking to and from their cars to the residential housing.
Sergeant Grinsteiner says crime isn't necessarily increasing, explaining that it fluctuates depending on the community. Either way, feeling safe is important.
It's always tough for new students, especially when you're in a new environment. I know my freshman year I was, still trying to learn the campus and learn where everything was, and you feel a little bit uneasy, and parents as well, when they only come to visit their kids every once in a while.
Walkers still have to go downtown tonight, but they're keeping with them tablets, and they're keeping a list of all the trouble spots and how they want to fix them. Tonight, they're going to send them off to the facilities manager, and he's going to take care of the rest before school starts. Reporting in Fargo, Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
Thanks, Nicole. Whether it's NDSU or any other campus, if your son or daughter is attending, make sure they know who to contact and the safe places on campus. If they aren't sure, have them ask. Another day, another target, but the same scam. A person calling themselves Bobby phoned the American Inn Hotel off of 45th Street yesterday, claiming to be from Xcel Energy. The person said there was a technician on the way to shut off service unless their bill was paid in full immediately. The assistant general manager called up the accounting department only to find out that their bills were fine.
I called Bobby at 818-539-0121, and I hung up right away. It seemed like the connection was real staticky. It didn't, put you through an automated, which would be professional.
Xcel Energy says they will never call to demand instant payment, and they do not threaten to shut off power immediately if someone does not pay. In a related story, North Dakota's Attorney General said today that they have received more consumer scam reports in 2014 than in previous years. There were 700 complaints filed in 2014. Not everyone got their money back. The division brought 120 complaints to court and was able to get about $2 million back to consumers. The top scams in North Dakota: contractor fraud, telemarketing scams, identity theft, merchant scams, and general service scams. But telemarketing scams are the most problematic.
There are the very expensive scams that involve the IRS scams, the romance scams, the computer tech scams, and the grandparent scam.
If you believe you're a victim of a scam, call our whistleblower hotline. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. Call 701-237-6576 and leave your tip. North Dakota is a leader in many areas, but stands out in a seemingly peculiar way when it comes to Medicaid. Every state in the country has a Medicaid fraud control unit, except for North Dakota. This is despite the fact that the Office of the State Auditor, testifying to the Legislative Audit and Fiscal Review Committee, said that the condition is ripe for fraud and abuse.
I support reestablishing a fraud and abuse unit, let me make that clear. But part of the issues have been wrapped around the fact that we have had an antiquated system for doing this, requiring tremendous amounts of staff time and the potential for error.
The Department of Health Services testified that a bill was introduced to fund a task force this past session, but the language was changed to study the issue instead. A concerned WeFest camper contacted our whistleblower hotline after learning camping might be different next year at the annual event. Tricia Eilertson says after purchasing her tickets, she saw online that it says campers must arrive together to camp together. Eilertson says in past years, campers would come and save spots for others in their group. For the past 18 years, she's been camping at WeFest with her friends who come from across the state of Minnesota. She fears the change will make WeFest a different experience.
Well, the biggest reason we go is to be with our friends, and if we have to walk halfway across the campground to find them, one, our stuff is not going to be as safe because usually there's somebody hanging out, keeping an eye on everybody and everything, and just to not be able to have that breakfast, lunch, and dinner together and hang out and get up to the concerts together and do everything together like we have been.
We did contact WeFest officials who told us the policy is not new, and if you plan to camp, you should arrive together. They do plan on enforcing the rules. Financial help will continue for parents dealing with premature babies. Bowls for Babies is a fundraiser through the March of Dimes. Money is raised during a luncheon where people pay $25. They can also pick up a bowl that's been painted by people in the community. What's needed are businesses to hold painting parties. If you're interested, contact the March of Dimes. The Red River Valley usually gets network notoriety because of weather-related happenings. Tuesday, a well-known network news anchor and reporter came to town to share the story of a long-standing business in Moorhead. I sat down and talked with Harry Smith about his story.
I find it more like a craft, right? Yep. You know, because sometimes you can sand over the rough parts.
That's good. That's good. Just a few minutes with Harry Smith and you realize the person you like to watch on TV is even more likable in person. He just flew into town, and the way he worked the crowd outside the Dairy Queen, it was like he grew up in Moorhead, not Lansing, Illinois.
And there you have your raspberry syrup.
Well, yeah, that is the thing of beauty.
When Smith moved indoors, he immediately fit in with the workers.
Yeah, of course. Really? What'd you teach me how to make a blizzard?
Harry was in town to feature the historic and roguelike Moorhead Dairy Queen. Because it's been around so long, it doesn't have to follow all of the Dairy Queen franchise rules, meaning it serves all of the newer treats,
the small peanut butter crunch,
but also a mix of throwback items, a story that appealed to Smith.
You ought to call this guy in Moorhead, Minnesota. This guy's running a rogue Dairy Queen up there, right?
I think Harry's having fun.
This should be declared illegal.
I think maybe he can add this to his resume, his very prestigious resume that he was able to work at the Moorhead Dairy Queen for a day.
Harry isn't the kind of reporter that just sits back and asks questions. He was more than willing to learn the Dairy Queen ways. He was also happy to hand out treats to unsuspecting customers.
It's a banana supreme. Ask, serious, it's free. It's free.
Some seemed hesitant to accept.
There's nothing dangerous. There's nothing dangerous about this. It's just a free banana supreme that we made.
And Smith didn't hesitate when I asked him if he'd make me a blizzard.
Tell me, what flavor?
Heath Bar Blizzard, please.
Heath Bar Blizzard. That's a very good choice.
Thank you.
That's a connoisseur's choice.
Thank you.
It's not a rookie choice. That's not one of those cookie dough. I mean, not one of those easy jobs. That shows refinement. That's what that shows.
Thank you.
Right? That's maturity.
Like a pro, he followed careful instructions to a T. And before I knew it, I was enjoying the best Dairy Queen treat I'd ever had.
Yeah. Okay. So you thought you were going to trick the big TV guy from New York. And look at that, sir. Yeah, hello.
How is it?
You pass. You pass.
This place is the place that passes.
Thanks, Harry. No word on when NBC will air Harry's story. It was scheduled to run last night, but it was bumped at the last minute. We'll tell you when we know. And thanks to the folks over at Moorhead DQ.